Saturday night baseball in the Cape Cod League between the Harwich Mariners and the Orleans Firebirds, meeting number 2 for these East Division foes. One team sits at 7-5, second in the division, the other at the bottom at 3-9. Welcome into White House Field. Alongside Devin Dobeck, I'm Skylar Wilkes. Thanks so much for joining us on this sunny and cool Saturday afternoon in June. Harwich coming off a 4-1 win over Falmouth last night to snap a 2-game losing streak and win their second game over the Commodores. And Devin, 4-1, 5 runs total. It was a big-time pitcher's duel between the Commodores and the Mariners.
No doubt about that, and I mean, you think about Hayden LeFew, he was fantastic last night. 5 1/3 scoreless innings, surrendered just 2 hits, and 8 strikeouts to go along with just 1 walk. It was a start that he desperately needed to have. Now leads the team in strikeouts with 14, but after that subpar performance in his first start, glad to see him bounce back, and this should be really good news for the Mariners going forward.
The Firebirds bounced back as well last night with a 5-2 win over another East Division in the Whitecaps. That snapped a 3-game skid for Orleans, who, if you look at the numbers, it's pretty interesting. The team is top in the league in ERA, has the best pitching staff in the league, second fewest hits allowed, but the bats, you just can't say the same.
No, absolutely not. I mean, hitting 173 as a team, that's not going to win you too many baseball games. They've put across just 27 runs through a whopping 12 games. That's just over 2 per game. Really, the offense hasn't been there. As a team, a 538 OPS. That also at the bottom of the Cape Cod Baseball League. So they've had the great pitching, but when you're not getting run support to help you out on that end, it's really difficult to string together wins.
So the Firebirds are struggling to pick up wins consistently. The Mariners, like I said, second in the East Division. A big part of that, at least most recently, has been the shortstop Ryan Weingartner, and we'll get to the lineup in a bit, but Weingartner, he's the first name you'll hear if you're reading off the Harwich lineup. Leading off tonight, makes his first start since Monday at Chatham. And Weingartner played last night, came in as a defensive sub, got a single, stolen base, came home to score. What does having the Penn State transfer in the lineup mean for Steve Englert's crew?
Means everything. Leads the team with a .517 on-base percentage, has the 4 steals to add to that. That leads the team, and then leads the team in 2 other categories. He's walked 9 times, and he's scored 8 runs. So really, it's been a tremendous campaign for him, and him being in the lineup, especially at the top, makes all the difference. It's that speedy guy who's able to be versatile, plays good defense, and he's going to be such an asset going forward.
So Weingartner, definite surge back in the lineup, big break for the Mariners. And right before we meet the lineups, we'll step aside for the national anthem.
When you need to be seen for a minor illness or injury, Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is here for you with high-quality, full-service walk-in care. ER expertise meets urgent care convenience at our 6 urgent care centers, which are staffed by board-certified ER providers and located Cape-wide from Falmouth to Orleans. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is open daily and offers a cost-saving option for everything from sprains to stitches, with timely treatment in under an hour for most patients. View online wait times at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Just about ready to go here from White House Field between the Mariners and the Firebirds. Meeting number 2 between the two squads. First one came just over a week ago back at Eldridge Park. 2-1 Harwich victory was the result there. We talked about lineups. Let's meet who Kelly Nicholson has going for his Orleans Firebirds. Sitting in last place right now at 3-9. Mike Mancini leads off at second base, followed up by Hadim Jiao in center, batting second. Batting third at first, Landon Moran. Batting fourth at short, Rock Chalowski. While batting fifth in left field, Austin Smith. Batting sixth, and at third base, Daniel Bucciero. Batting seventh, DH Eddie Yaman. Catcher and batting eighth, Jimmy Keenan. Batting ninth in right field is Evan Griffiths. And Griffin Kern on the bump for his third start of the season for the Mariners. First pitch of the day is a strike right down the middle at 5:31. We're underway. 0-1 to Mike Mancini, the second baseman out of James Madison, although recently entered the portal. Looking to build off a strong campaign for the Dukes. 0-1 is down to Kern. Just finished his senior season at Division II Quincy in his hometown of Quincy, Illinois, transferring to West Virginia for his graduate season. 1-1. Mancini pops it up foul, third base side. Jake Ogden ranging over towards the bullpen, and he makes the catch on the run for out number 1.
Got a little bit of luck with that as well, Skylar, because taking a look at the bullpen, of course, the mound elevated up, so he took that step right after he made the catch that kind of comes up on you quick. With the ground elevated, you land awkwardly. Could have been disaster, but he's able to record the out. Really controlled play.
So Ogden handled that elevation well. That's the first out of the inning, which gives way to center fielder Hadim Jiao. Initial offer from Kern is down below the knees to the center fielder from Loyola Marymount out in California. The alma mater of Firebirds coach Kelly Nicholson. Jiao ahead 2-0 to Kern, who so far this season 1-0. He's been an impressive arm for the Mariners. Delivers a strike over the plate.
You mentioned Griffin Kern, of course. He's tied for the team lead with 10 1/3 innings pitched. He's been really a great starter. Both his outings, 1 5 1/3, 1 5 full. And the one he went 5 full wasn't credited with the win because the Mariners would go on and drop the game. But he's been really great in his second season here in Harwich. Actually pitched against these Firebirds in the postseason last year.
One of his 3 appearances for the Mariners last year was against the Firebirds in a series that Harwich eventually lost. 2-2 to Jiao is low and away. So far this season for Kern, 1-0 with a 1.74 ERA and 10 1/3 innings pitched. Last time out, like Devin mentioned, was against YD a week ago, where he got a no decision in 5 1/3 innings. Payoff to Jiao is slammed right back up the middle. 1 out knock for Hadim Jiao, and the Firebirds get the first hit of the ball game.
And Kern just caught way too much of the plate with that pitch. Just tried to throw a strike, didn't want to give him a free pass, and a beautiful swing put on at that time. Just laces it right down into center field for that 1-out hit.
So with Jiao on first, it's the first baseman Landon Moran in the box. As Kern delivers a first pitch strike. But instead, it's called the balk on Kern, so Jiao goes on down to second, and it's still 0-0 to Moran.
Sometimes when you're a lefty and there's speed on the base paths, you get a little over-concerned and maybe you want to take a look over at the base. That time, Kern, the victim of the balk, which we've seen a handful of times this year in the Cape League, and of course that puts them in a scoring position. Firebirds, a team who has trouble scoring runs, so if they can strike early against a great pitcher in Kern, that could be critical.
Firebirds dead last in the league in total runs scored at 27. Moran, slow roller to short. Weingartner charging, and he fumbles with it, but still gets the throw off. Not in time. Landon Moran beats it out after a juggled exchange from shortstop Ryan Weingartner. It's a base hit for Moran, and Orleans is 2 men on.
They don't all have to be pretty. He just puts a bat on that one and rolls it slowly over to the shortstop. Weingartner, little trouble on the transfer, of course. The runner wasn't moving at second, so that couldn't have been a distraction. Just got away from him, and he'll have to bounce back from that.
So the Firebirds threatening here with Rock Chalowski, the shortstop, in the right-handed batter's box. Men on first and second, just one out. And Kern hits the bottom of the zone. Defense behind him. Luke Heyman at first. Cade Kurland at second with Ryan Weingartner at short. Jake Ogden at third. In the outfield from right to left, Cam Maldonado, Bristol Carter, and Vince Vittori. And Macon Winslow is doing the catching behind the plate. 0-1 at Chalowski. Foul tip into the mitt of Winslow. And Kern quickly ahead 0-2.
Got to find a way to get this batter 2 men on, and both in ways which you wouldn't have liked. A 3-2 single, and then finally an infield hit. So got to attack this guy.
0-2 home. Chalowski holds off on a pitch upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top of the first. Chalowski, a rising sophomore at UCLA, where he was an all Pac-12 honorable mention after batting .308 with 8 homers, leading the team in both categories. 1-2. Bounce to third. That gets by the shortstop Weingartner. Jow waved home. The throw from Vittori. Not in time. It's an RBI single for Rock Chalowski, and the Firebirds draw first blood 1-0 in the top of the first.
3 straight singles. That's going to hurt you just about 10 days out of the week. Kern just leaving these pitches way too much over the plate. And credit to Orleans, a team who traditionally has not hit well this season. They've found ways to get to them, and it's been very productive and worked to their benefit.
Kern is career high in the Cape. Most hits allowed was 4. That was against Orleans back on August 5th in the playoffs last season. He's already given up 3 here in a third of an inning. Nearly hits left fielder Austin Smith on the first pitch. 1-0 with Chalowski on first, Moran on second.
He's given up just 4 hits on the season coming in today, and already 3 here in the first.
1-0. Smith looks at a breaking ball in there for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. In the top of the first, 1-0 Firebirds lead. To Austin Smith, rising senior at the University of San Diego. 1-1 is hammered to right field. Moran holds the brakes at third. 4 straight singles for the Firebirds, and the bases are loaded, still just 1 out.
Might be time for a mound visit. If you're Griffin Kern, maybe Macon Winslow can talk some things over with him, because he's just been getting shelled out there. Very uncharacteristic of what we've seen from him in his brief sample size.
Griffin Kern was the opening day starter for Harwich, got the win in a Mercy Rule victory over Catuit. Throws the first pitch upstairs to third baseman Daniel Bucciero. Jumps ahead 1-0 with Smith on first, Chalowski on second, Moran on third. And another miss above the belt from Kern, who does not look like himself today.
Still plenty of time in this game, though. We saw Jacob Frost hit some turbulence in his first inning over at Hyannis the other day, but after that, 3 innings where he really was able to lock in and figure it out. Maybe Kern can do a similar thing here.
Kern gets a fastball, 4 strike, 2-1 to Bucciero, the rising junior at Fordham. Way outside from Kern, 3-1, a pitch away from walking home. Landon Moran at third. Bases loaded, 1 out for Orleans. Already up 1-0 here in the top of the first. 3-1 to Bucciero. The pitch. Lifted high in the air, foul on the first base side. Runs the count full.
It's a big pitch. Nowhere to put him. Got to find a way to throw a strike, but can't catch too much of the plate. Bucciero's got some power.
3-2. The payoff. Swing and a miss. Griffin Kern gets Daniel Bucciero on the high fastball to record his first strikeout of the game and get a much-needed second out.
You can say that again. One he desperately needed. Ball not put in play. Can't push across any runs. He's given up just the 1 despite 4 hits in the inning. Big out coming here
Bases are still loaded with 2 outs for the designated hitter Eddie Yaman, who whiffs at the initial offer. Yaman in a big spot for someone coming off a monster year at Dayton, which after hitting .342 with 54 RBIs, he's taking his talents to the SEC and LSU. Skies in the air, foul territory, first base side. Heyman and Maldonado running after it, but it falls just before the dirt, and Yaman stays alive for at least one more pitch.
Looked like Maldonado could have had a shot at that baseball. Obviously, it's in that awkward spot where you're not sure if you should dive or kind of slide down and try and make a basket catch, but when you're going a million miles an hour, sometimes it's hard to make those decisions quick on your feet. Still a good effort nonetheless from Maldonado, but would have been nice to see him make a great play there.
So Griffin Kern now 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. 0-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. The delivery, strike 3. Eddie Yaman goes down swinging, and Griffin Kern limits the damage as best he can. 4 straight hits in the inning. 1 run scored of an RBI single from Rock Chalowski, but the Firebirds leave the bases loaded, take a 1-0 lead to the bottom of first on the Harwich Mariner Network.
Here at the Massey Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.